Hi Pisces, welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your September 2026 tarot reading. Thank you to those of you who have liked, viewed, shared, and subscribed to the channel. I appreciate all of that. For those of you new to the channel, for us what we have in front of us, it's a 12 card spread with each card representing a different house of the zodiac. Starting with your sign, Pisces, as the first house, all the way through to Aquarius representing the 12th. Once we get to the main spread, we'll pull an oracle card as well for some additional insight. As far as the decks being used this month, for the main tarot deck, we have the Brady Tarot. For the oracle deck, we have the Wisdom of the Oracle. We're actually going to start the reading off with Roll Nose Astrology as we have in front of us to get an idea where your folks should be as far as that goes. Alright, we have 5. So, fifth house energy for you guys is actually Cancer, and astrologically speaking, we do have Mars there for most of the month, really, until the 27th of September, so makes sense to see that come up. But yeah, fifth house, romance, creativity, children, so you can have more focus and energy there. Alright, we have Aquarius, and Aquarius is actually your 12th house of spirituality, blind spots, mental health. We currently have Pluto there, retrograde, and of course the North Node moving through there as well. And we have Mercury. So Mercury is just wrapping up the transit through your 6th house of health, work, and daily routines, but in a few days it'll be in Virgo, which is your house of partnerships, contracts, relationships. And then around the 10th, it's going to move into Libra, which is your 8th house of death, rebirth, intimacy, and investments. And then technically at the very, very end of the month, it's going to move into Scorpio. So obviously Mercury moves kind of fast, but yeah, I have a feeling maybe the Virgo energy is going to be more at play as far as why we saw that. But we'll keep all that in mind as we go through the main spreads. So for your first house, pointing to personality, self-awareness, and appearance, we have the 10 of Feathers, which is burden. So this is the equivalent to the 10 of Wands, which is a Sagittarius energy, and that is your 10th house of career and social status. So this could just be saying that you might be feeling really tapped out when it comes to your careers at this time. Maybe you just feel like there's too much going on, right? You're a little bit worn down. You might see the finish line nearby, but at the same time, it could just be feeling like it's taken a lot of work to get you there. For your second house of possession, self-worth, and finances, we have the Star. So this is actually the major arcana card for Aquarius, which we saw at your dice too. But seeing this here could just be saying that, yeah, that could be part of it, right? This is the card that comes after the Tower. So you guys might have gone through a financial setback recently, and you might be getting back on your feet slowly, but at the same time, it's still feeling like you're playing a game of catch-up right now. And this could just be saying that maybe some of these struggles have also changed your outlook on finances, right? Maybe were you placing too much emphasis on them, not enough, right? So you could be rebalancing all that. For your third house of communication, short journeys, and siblings, we have the Father of Horns. So this is really the equivalent of the King of Cups, which is a Scorpio energy. So yeah, it could just be saying that you might be discussing deeper subjects with people now. You just might, not to say that you would always talk surface level stuff, but it's just one of those things where maybe you're just a little bit more interested into deeper topics at this time. Maybe even finding that you might have some unique beliefs around your friend circle too, right? But at the same time being comfortable with that. Like, well, if that's how it is, if I'm the only one who thinks this way, I'm okay with that. But looks like you're going to be just digging a little deeper when it comes to your communication this month in general. All right, so for your fourth house of home, roots, and family, we have oppression. So this is the 8 of Arrows, 8 of Swords in a lot of decks. And this actually is a Gemini energy. So I will say that is your natural 4th house ruler is Gemini. So the main thing that comes to mind for Gemini energy is on the 10th of September, Uranus will be retrograde in there. So for some of you, if you're already feeling this heavy energy within your home environment, right, or maybe feeling like relationships are a little bit strained with your family, when that retrograde takes place, it might settle down a little bit, especially if this is something that seems to have happened more recently, right? Whereas maybe If this is a long-standing thing that's been going on for, let's say, years, right, then it could be one of those things where you might feel that stress a little bit more during that retrograde. But that's what I'm seeing with that. For your fifth house of romance, creativity, and children, which we also saw come up with the dice, we have the Daughter of Arrows. So this is the equivalent of the Page of Pentacles, and it could just be saying, on the one hand, maybe there's a creative project that you've been working on for a while, and now it could be gaining a little bit more traction, and you're actually starting to see that, okay, now what started out as just something to get some creativity out, maybe you're actually starting to see that it's gaining traction and could actually pay off in tangible ways. For others of you, this could just be saying that when it comes to how you approach romance, dating, right, maybe now you're slowly finding yourselves a little bit more interested into getting into more of a serious long-term connection. So I'll just be saying that those are the energies you're feeling in that area of life right now. For your sixth house of health, work, and daily routines, we have the sun. So yeah, so this could just be saying, at least on the one hand, seeing the burden energy, right, for your first house. And like we said, that's a career house for you guys as far as the Sagittarius energy in the card there. Seeing this here could just be saying, at the very least, when it comes to your daily routines, you might be feeling a little bit more light and playful. Could just be saying that maybe your health will be improving as well, so that I could give you at least a little bit more energy to make that push through if that's what's needed. But yeah, could also just be saying that you might be getting a little bit of recognition in that area of life as well. All right, so for your seventh house of partnerships, contracts, relationships, we have the Son of Horns. So this is the equivalent of the Knight of Cups, which is really a Pisces energy. So yeah, to see this come up in your seventh house could be playing off of what I was saying there, right? To where now you might actually find yourselves desiring a relationship a little bit more, right? So maybe you've been going solo for a while and now you're finding yourselves a bit more interested in partnering up. And if that's the case, you could be putting yourselves out there in some way this month and expressing your feelings. All right, so for the eighth house of death, rebirth, intimacy, and investments, we have enchantment. So this is the equivalent of the Ace of Pentacles. It's the Ace of Roots in this deck. So yeah, could just be saying that for some of you when it comes to your finances, investing, again, maybe you're getting some ideas about new ways you could do that, right? Maybe some ways you could move your resources around that'll be better for you in the long run. For others of you, this could also just be saying that, yeah, again, maybe you're getting a bit more serious about intimacy, right? Opening up to others, expressing feelings. So either way, it could just be saying you're feeling a bit inspired in that area of life. All right, for your ninth house of philosophy, higher learning, and foreign affairs, we have joy. So this is really the equivalent of the Ace of Cups. It's the Ace of Horns in this deck. But yeah, seeing this here could just be saying that when it comes to your beliefs, right? Maybe you're feeling, especially if you went through a time where you're feeling a little bit more heavy, bogged down, burdened, right? We were talking about of course, the card itself is called burden, but even seeing the star card in the second house, which like I said means you probably went through a tower moment not too long ago. Could just be saying that now that you're on the other side of that, you have this lighter, more optimistic side of you that's like, okay, yeah, I went through all that, but I'm still here, still standing, right? So onward and upward. So could just be pointing to your outlook at this time. For your 10th house of career and social status, we have the Tower. So yeah, so I could see a clear connection here as far as this goes with the burden energy, right? We were talking about how you might be feeling a little bit drained when it comes to your career. So again, like I said, for some of you, you do see that finish line, right? So I feel like it's working with a goal in mind, but at the same time, I would say this is definitely a good indicator to watch out for maybe just burning out, right? Or, burning out as far as, you're pushing it so far anyway, and then, you could end up experiencing a setback in that regard. Or this could just be saying that if this is one of those things where and you've known for a while now, again, this wouldn't be like you just wake up one day and feel this way. But if you've known for a while now that this is a path you've needed to leave behind, but there's been some resistance around it, it could just be saying that, the universe could actually step in to remove it for you. So just something to watch out for there. All right, for your 11th house, which points to your groups, friendships, hopes, and wishes, we have Justice. So this is actually the major arcana card for Libra. So on the one hand, this could just be saying that timeline-wise, as we get toward the end of September and move into Libra season, maybe you might actually start to feel a lot stronger in this area of life, right? So for example, maybe you'll have reconnections with friends, right? Or if you do go through a bit of a setback, you'll find that your friends are able to step in and actually help set things right for you, right? Whatever. So super generic. If you do end up suddenly losing a job out of the blue, it'd be one of those things where a friend you have might actually be like, oh, actually we know of an open spot over here. That'd be a great fit for you, right? So it's one of those things where your community could actually help rebalance the scales rather quickly for you guys if you do experience a setback. And again, it goes back to, funny enough, right, the outlook that you have of, you know what, I've gone through rough stretches, survived them before. If there's another one, I'm ready for that too. So this could just be pointing out that you would be correct in that regard. All right, and for the 12th house, which points to spirituality, mental health, and blind spots, we have the moon. So yeah, this is interesting to see here because as far as usually when I see the moon, I think of the main lunar cycles that'll be playing out over this time period, and of course the main one for you guys especially is even though this is a September reading, we haven't had that full moon eclipse in your sign just yet. So that's going to be on the 28th of August. So that could be significant for you guys, of course. And then we'll have a new moon in Virgo, which is your opposite sign, around the 10th. And then maybe that's part of why you're feeling a little bit more like, oh, you know what, maybe I am interested in partnering up. And then I will have a full moon in Aries, which is your second house of finances, toward the end of September. So maybe that could be where there's some shifting when it comes to your career, right? Or maybe finally feeling like you're past this burden and struggle energy that you've been going through there. So be on the lookout for those. But this could also just be saying that try not to ignore your intuition this month. You know, if something just intuitively feels a little off, right? You know, maybe just don't blindly go with your intuition, but don't ignore it either, right? So be like, okay, intuitively I'm getting this hit on this one thing. At the very least, take that as a sign to investigate it a little bit more. All right. And for the bottom of the deck, we have the 10 of Horns, 10 of Cups in a lot of decks, and it's referred to as overflowing here. So yeah, this is actually Pisces energy for one, so it's good to see that natural match up there. But again, this could be another indicator. Like I said, it seems like things will be going well for you guys this month, even as there could be a little bit of stressful, chaotic energies around you. I feel like this is just saying you can have this inner peace, and it's eventually going to reflect outwardly as well. So, lastly, we'll actually pull an oracle card and wrap up with that. So I'm going to give this a few shuffles. We'll cut the deck and pull a card. All right, we'll take this card here, get this out of the way, and we'll see what you got. All right, we have Not For You. There's the artwork, and the number is 6. So yeah, so this goes back to what I was saying with that tower, right? Where, like I said, for some of you, if you've been feeling like for a long time that, hey, you know, this just isn't a good fit for me, but there's been resistance to releasing that, this is another indicator that it could just be saying that, yeah, the universe could just be making it obvious to you now, like, hey, you know, this is something that something's got to give, right? But we'll see what it says in the book. All right, essential meanings says a clear knowing that something is being denied you. Rejection is God's protection. The oracle's message. There are times when it appears that no matter how deeply you desire something, no matter how hard you work at something, the result you seek will always seem to elude you. It is as if you don't really get to be in the game, and you feel you're just watching from the sidelines. The appearance of this card indicates that you're not going to attain what you want right now, that indeed, your dreams for that exact thing will not be fulfilled. This is a time to radically accept that not everything is available to you when you want it. Take heart, for there are benevolent forces who desire the best for you and have a much clearer idea of what's for your highest good. Rejection is God's protection. Something much better that will make you truly happy is on its way. Trust this. So, yeah. So, reading that definitely makes me think of what we were talking about as far as seeing the tower and then seeing justice right next to it, right? So, it could just be one of those things where even if you do experience some setback, I feel like something in your environment can actually show you that there was a reason for that and set things straight again. The relationship message says some relationships carry an innate seed of failure in them from the beginning, but the red flags escape your observation or you refuse to acknowledge them. When a relationship is not meant to be, it's not possible to make it be. Rejection is a sign that you're being protected by the divine. If you are the one who must reject another, remember that you do so for both your sakes. For every pot there is a lid. This one may not be the best fit. So yeah, that's an interesting message there, right? Because like I said, for some of you, it seems like you're just now getting to the point where you are opening up to the idea of a relationship. So maybe you've already gone through that phase for some of you where you might have walked away from a connection that wasn't the right fit for you in the past, and now you're open to exploring again. All right. And the prosperity message says you can strategize and project and systemize and invest all your time and energy, but sometimes your best laid plans seem to go awry in spite of it all. Keep in mind that no effort is wasted. Fail fast and learn from defeat. Then keep going. You will eventually succeed, although perhaps not at this game, not at this time. Know when to fold your cards. So yeah, that last sentence takes me back to what we were saying with that feeling of burden and seeing the tower in the 10th, right? But yeah, like I said, even if it does seem like the rug gets pulled out from under you as far as some opportunity goes, I do see indicators that it would actually be course corrected pretty quickly for you guys. So again, might not feel ideal in a moment, but like I said, and then yeah, seeing the joy and the overflowing, I feel like deep down you would know that as well. But again, in the moment, we're human, right? It might not feel all that great at the time. But hopefully that resonates with you guys, and we'll wrap up there. All right, bye.